Hi there, I'm Rex King. Welcome back to another episode where I review films currently in theaters. Today I am talking about Missing. Missing is the film directed by Nicholas Johnson and Will Merrick and stars Storm Reed as June, a 18-year-old girl who lives with her mother, and her mother decides to go on a trip with her boyfriend, leaving her home by herself. However, her mother doesn't show up to be picked up from the airport and goes missing, hence the title. So it's up to June to solve what's happened to her mother. Meanwhile, the film takes basically the perspective of um, her computer, her smartwatch, and her phone to tell us her story. So it's basically a found footage film done in a different style. It's very similar to the 2018 film Searching, which isn't a big shock because the directors of this film were the editors of that one. This film, I'll be honest, I was not expecting much out of it. I'm not a huge fan of the found footage genre, and though, yes, this film is technically not found footage, it's all from the perspective of someone's smart devices, their computers, their phones, etc. But I still consider this a part of the found footage genre, just done in a slightly different style. So I wasn't expecting a ton. But what I got was one hell of a ride. I mean, the film is one gripping story. It hooks you in and keeps you guessing about what's going on till the very end of the film. And it never stops moving. At least that's what it feels like. Even though you're still just on her computer screen, it's moving from different apps to talking to different people. The film is very well paced, and that just works for this type of story. And I'll be honest, I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire runtime. Now, the ending has some Hollywood esque moments that take away from the realism of the story, but overall, I think that the film is quite good, and I really recommend it for anyone who's looking for a good thriller. I give the story a 7 out of 10. The characters are, well, interesting for the most part. This film relies heavily on June and our ability to cope with what she's going for through and trying to understand her emotional state. And the film writes her very well. She's very realistic. I think a lot of people are going to understand her and are going to understand what she's going through. So I think that they wrote her really well. Everyone else, though, in the film is kind of one note. None of the other characters are written inherently well. And to be honest, they just don't add a ton. They are necessary, but they just don't feel like real people. So that kind of takes you out when you start to think about it. So I'm going to give the characters a 6 out of 10. But the performances, everyone's doing a great job, but this film is on Storm Reed's shoulder, and she blows it out of the park as June, and I really enjoyed what she brought to the table. The way she's able to convey these different emotions that June is going through is perfect for a film like this. I really enjoy the performances. Though the other characters are written well, I do believe the performers are trying their best with what they've been given, and that works. So I'm going to give the performances an 8 out of 10 because Storm Reed was just so wonderful. The visual styles, again, I'm not usually a huge fan of found footage films and other films of the like. So I was, again, not expecting to like this film visually. But man, do they blow out the visuals for a film like this. Like I said earlier, the film feels like it's moving very quickly, and that's because they're using different apps, clicking out of different browsers, making sure that they're using what they have to the full extent. And there are instances where when you're texting someone, there's those three dots that go back and forth to hint that they're thinking. And they use those in this film to build tension occasionally. And that works because it shows that the characters are thinking. And that helps elevate the film. I really enjoyed what this film did visually with its limited concept. I'm going to give the visuals a 8 out of 10. That brings me to the music. The music here is pretty good. It helps ramp up the emotions and ramp up the tension. It's not the best score I've heard, but it definitely does what it tries to accomplish. It holds you at the edge of your seat. And at the end of the day, I do think that this film accomplishes what it sets out to do music-wise. So I'm going to give the music score a 7 out of 10. At the end of the day, Missing is one wild ride. I already said that I recommend this one to anyone who's looking for a good thriller, but I cannot stress enough, you need to see this movie. It is really good, and I was really surprised. If you're like me and are a naysayer of the found footage genre, I think you'll even like this film because of how fast it moves with its concept and how it uses the found footage genre to its advantage here, or at least this version of the found footage genre. So at the end of the day, my final verdict of Missing is going to be a 7 out of 10. The only thing that's holding it back is going to be the characters. I cannot stress this enough. One well-written character does not make a great cast of characters. I want more from my characters, and that's my only huge nitpick for the film. But at the end of the day, I still enjoyed myself. So, 7 out of 10. And if you've seen Missing, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Wow! I am 3 weeks into January. And I'll be honest, it's been a pretty good January. I mean, yeah, Double Conspiracy was bad, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. This year's really good so far. When's the Anvil gonna drop and I'm gonna be watching crap? Because usually that's this month. Yeah, I guess I'll find out. See you next time.